Hello. This is the 201st edition of Catch of the Day, available on the Branch Talk YouTube channel. Today we're going to continue reading from a book written by Doug Mitchell called The Four Carpenters, The Ensign, The Time of Jacob's Trouble, and The First Deliverance. Starting near the top of page 40, it reads, The Anointing. In summary of what we have seen so far, there are four things that cause the Assyrian, the last Gentile power that controls the land, to flee out of the land. The sword, not of a mighty man, not of a mean man, the ensign, the four carpenters, and the voice of the Lord. Thus, those four things must be different expressions of the same means by which the Lord alone uses to clear the land for the saints, to possess it. These things must also be directly related to the anointing and the everlasting gospel, neither of which involve political or military forces, but both of which are manifestations of God's power. In the type, the establishment of the Davidic kingdom began when David was anointed, although he did not ascend to the throne until after the death of Saul. This aspect is little understood by Davidians, yet is of paramount importance in understanding the sequences of events in the setting up of the kingdom and the progression of the truth in the unrolling of the scroll. The scriptures show that David was anointed 3 different times in his succession to the throne. The first one occurred when he was anointed only in the midst of his brethren in Hebron. Then set the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah, but the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. 1 Samuel 16, verse 13. There we find that at this anointing David among his brethren only, there was no great outward show. Note, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed. Matthew 13, verse 31. The kingdom sprouts from the ground up, invisible at first, underground. It cometh not with observation. Luke 17:20. Branch Sabbath School Lesson, Volume 5, Number 4 to 6, page 14. Moreover, at that time, the Spirit of the Lord came upon David and left Saul, who was then given an evil spirit that troubled him. Of David's second anointing we read, And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying, that the men of Jeshbeth Gilead were they that buried Saul. 2 Samuel 2, verse 4. There we find that at his second anointing he was recognized as king over Judah only, and not yet over all the tribes. That was right after the death of Saul. This point is crucial in understanding when, in the course of events, those who are to take the place of the angel of the Laodiceans are to come to the actual leadership of the church. That is, it is not until after Saul commits suicide and is buried that David is recognized as being king over more than just his brethren. If the Davidians who followed the leading of Florence Hardif, after Brother Hardif's death, had taken these types to heart, they never would have bought into her false predictions concerning the setting up of the kingdom in 1959, nor would be promulgating the various theories today concerning the slaughter in the church or in Davidia before antitypical Saul's suicide. Two things now stand out clearly in these verses, Zechariah 13:1 and 2. 1. That the house of David must come into existence before the cleansing fountain is opened. 2. That the cleansing begins with cutting off the names of the idols and throwing out of the land the false prophets and the unclean spirits. Take care.